God's timing. Everybody thinks that we're on our own timing. Everybody thinks that, whenever we want to do something, it's when we can do it. Granted, for a lot of people, yeah, that may be true, but for chosen ones, it's not true. For chosen ones, we're on God's timing. You ever wonder why relationships didn't work, business plans didn't work, you know what I'm saying, friendships didn't work? It's because a lot of times we weren't moving on God's timing. A lot of times we weren't moving with the Spirit of God or what He placed in us. God's timing is something tricky. We could be in a relationship thinking it's all going to be all good, and God's like, yo, I need you to do something. And the people that you're around is not going to help you elevate to where I need you to be. The environments you're in is not going to help you elevate to be where I need you to be. The mindset that you're in is not going to help you elevate to be where I need you to be. So when God calls you, and it's on God's timing, guess what? You got to move. Either you're going to move willingly, or it's going to be so many events, or He's going to force you to move. And this also goes for the other fold of if you're waiting for something. You're waiting for a dream or a manifestation to come through. It's all on God's timing. Sometimes if we get things when we think we want it, we won't know how to handle it or know how to treat it right. So we'll spoil it. So a lot of times, what they say, rejection is God's blessing. It's the same thing. It's like, this may not be the time for certain things. So if we rely on God's timing and knowing that He is our creator and He only wants the best for us, then it's easy to let go. It's easy to release that control factor that we all have gripped tight on, It's easy for us to release it and say, okay, God, I'm rolling with your timing. If you say it's time for me to do this, we're going to do this. If you tell me to do that, I'm going to do that. Boom. I think when you release that control, you just give it up to God, everything works out better. How many times have we gotten in relationships that we was doing it and moving on our own timing, and it didn't end up right, Or we was doing jobs on our own timing, and it didn't end up right, But the time we release control and let God handle things, it may not have been as comfortable, because comfortability, that was what we painted our head. But anyway, it may not be as comfortable, or it may not be as what we imagine. But the peace, the peace that comes from it while you're in the midst of that storm. You see, this is the thing, you always going to have a storm. Would you rather have that storm with God, or would you rather have that storm by yourself? I think ultimately that's the question that you always have to ask yourself. Because you're always going to have a storm. Always. It's always going to be a storm, no matter what, that's life. And not saying that the storm is going to be something detrimental or anything like that. But we always going to have shit that's just going to rock the boat sometimes, Not saying that you should always be looking for it, but it is what it is, especially if you're on a life of elevation. It is what it is. But would you rather go through that storm by yourself, or would you rather have God by your side while you go through that storm? And I'm taking the latter. I done been through storms by myself. It ain't too pretty, you know what I'm saying? And since I've been on this journey walking with God, I let that be my road dog all day. Any storm I'm going through, that first person, that I'm calling like, hey, bro. But for real though, it's God's time. Everything is God's time. When you release that control and give it up to God, let Him do what He got to do, and let Him use you as a vessel. And we not get caught up in our ways and all that type of shit. Shit gonna work out for us. It's just we have to adjust. We just have to adjust. But like God's timing, like I said, God's timing, y'all. Sometimes release that control. When you feel something in your spirit, just do it. Just move. Just act on it. Especially if it's with pure intentions and it's God talking to you. Just move on it. Especially if where you at is not 100% satisfying and peace. Yeah, that's when God's in your life is peace. In the midst of chaos, and you're at peace. It may not be the best job, but you're at peace. That's when God's actively working. Like I said, you can be in the midst of a storm, but you're at peace. is reaching. Y'all be safe. Love and blessings.